What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your boy, the Ultimate Rage, coming back with yet another live here in the No Cap Zone, where we have a strict dress code. Knock it the fuck off with that capping ass bull ass shit. The only kind of cap that we allow around these parts is your thinking cap. Otherwise, you got to move around. Because see, around here, we only care about facts, truth, data, information, statistics, evidence, things that can actually be demonstrated in real life. Like in real time. Like while we're actually alive and sane and of sound mind, because otherwise I literally have no idea what the hell these goofies are talking about, and to tell you the truth, they don't know what the hell they're talking about, which is why we have to talk about it. So let's talk about it. So before I continue, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on notifications, go to the website, offtheline.com/awaken.php. Link is available in the description. Share everywhere. Join the Discord. Be a part of an amazing community that is growing and that is literally ground zero for making the world super duper awesome. Now, let's get real about reality. So, don't know if you heard the news. Don't know if you seen the news. But this is the reason we're all here. Big news today. A very prominent and famous politician has suddenly passed away. Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, a Trump ally and foreign policy hawk, dies at 71. We're looking at NPR. Alright, so this is what they have to say. Okay. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, died late Saturday night following a quote-unquote brief and sudden illness. According to a statement released by his office, he was 71. Preliminary findings from the District of Columbia medical examiner showed the cause of death as aortic dissection due to a type of heart disease, Graham's office shared on Sunday. An adaptable and sometimes controversial deal maker, Graham was the last surviving member of an influential group of Senate defense hawks. During his near quarter century in the Senate, Graham was also instrumental in enacting President Trump's policy and staffing priorities after first starting out as a fierce Trump critic. Isn't that crazy how that happens? Isn't it crazy how motherfuckers can open their mouth and talk shit? You ain't this and you ain't that and you this and you that and blah blah. But then when motherfuckers reach the position, your goofy ass falls in line like all the rest of them. Isn't that crazy how that happens? All that stuff you was saying, all that stuff you was talking about, oh Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. Oh, so, and now you falling in line, doing whatever you tell you to do. Like the little pet that you are. I'm not going to be nice, by the way. This is not going to be a fucking eulogy. This is not going to be me being like, oh no, not Senator Graham, not Lindsey, Graham. Oh, we are not going to be very, very nice. I'm just going to let you know that right now. I am politically a leftist. Oh, by the way, I think this is kind of, ironic right here. For Mitch McConnell in Congress, health transparency is a choice, not a requirement. Weird. Think it's starting to be. I think we need a rule that once you're in an advanced age, as these gentlemen are/were, it should become a fucking requirement. Yeah, because see, here's the problem, alright? Let's just cut the shit, alright? Because I'm not going to read all this fucking shit. I was not a fan, okay? I am a political leftist. I'm not a fan of right-wing goofies, especially Christian conservative goofies. They're incorrect. Let's just be straight up. Christianity is incorrect. Conservative ideologies are incorrect. They're full of shit. They're bullshit. They are incorrect. They don't accurately represent reality. They don't help us create a well-functioning society. In fact, they don't connect much to reality at all. That's why we've reached this point where we're falling and falling and falling apart as a society. Where we're falling on so many different metrics, all the important metrics, whether you're talking about the quality of health care, our lifespans, all like on so many important metrics, we are running behind many other foreign nations, right? Like, we're supposed to be the best in the world. We're always talking about American exceptionalism. The only thing that seems to be exceptional about us here in America is our ability to scam every fucking body. We are what I like to call the scam capital, the capital of the fucking world, the divided states of corporations. Because see, what do we unite over? What do we unite it for? Other than fucking bullshit. Yeah, people can unite for fucking bullshit and dumbass bullshit, right? Things that don't actually exist, things that don't actually help society, things that don't help us in any tangible, meaningful way. But how about helping us as a society? Oh, now all of a sudden we can't unite, we can't even agree on even the most basic fundamental aspects of reality. The reason why I'm covering this, importantly to me, is because Lindsey Graham, like many politicians, was a fucking Christian. A Christian conservative. Alright? So, let me pull it up for y'all. Just so we're on the same page, because I'm very big on making fucking sense and having all the data available so that we don't have to argue any of this fucking nonsense. We can agree on the same facts, data, information, statistics, okay? We should not be constantly bickering over fucking nonsense at all. So, let me see where I got here. So I'm on ChristianPost.com, which says pro-life and Christian conservative advocacy organizations are mourning Graham's death. Lindsey Graham was an unwavering pro-life champion and a friend. There will be no replacements for Lindsey Graham, according to the SBA Pro-Life American President Marjorie Dannenfelser. A man of vision and tenacity, he gave wise counsel and advocacy in countless difficult moments, fighting for the rights of the unborn child. He expended himself to the work he was called to do, stepping up when no one else would on the fundamental value of the not yet born child to live. He said to all who would listen, it's not about geography. Indeed, his ability to persuade transcended geographic and cut the shit. Cut the shit. I talk about this shit all the fucking time, and I'm bringing it up again. People who are all about the unborn child rights are full of shit. Completely, totally, and utterly full of shit. Because they only care when it comes to topics concerning specifically abortion. They don't give a fuck about stillbirths, miscarriages. They don't care about SIDS. And most notably, they don't care about the actual welfare of children after they're actually born. Considering how much child rape occurs in the church, and bitch-ass losers like fucking Lindsey Graham didn't say shit about none of that shit, including the shit that happens all over the fucking world, including here in America, every single fucking day. Where the hell was Lindsey Graham talking about all these child rapists in the church, raping children in the church, and actually highlighting this, and actually working with the Pope and the President and all these super duper super Christy Christians to stop any of that shit? Oh right, I forgot. Nowhere to be fucking found, because they don't actually really care, which is why, what do you know, a lot of the fucking politicians' names end up in the motherfucking goddamn Epstein files on both major parties, by the way. We don't discriminate because facts are facts. Okay, where was Lindsey Graham when 2 weeks ago, fucking San Francisco, that's the San Francisco Archdiocese offered $395 million to victims of child rape who were being victimized for decades. Where was Lindsey Graham? Matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's see, because who knows? Maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe I might actually find that he actually did say something about it, and I'm the asshole, right? Because I mean, I'm an ignorant person. I don't know everything. So, and you know, the algorithms, they're not the most accurate. They don't always fucking, like, capture everything. They're not the, you know, they bury stuff all the time. So maybe Lindsey Graham did say something, and they're just burying the article because they don't want somebody like me to find it. So, I'm on DuckDuckGo right now. Let me pull up the chat, make sure not missing nobody. Okay. All right. By the way, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment if you're rocking with me. So, okay, so we're looking at DuckDuckGo. I don't see Lindsey Graham's name any fucking where. I see the stories being covered by all these different platforms, which, strangely enough, are difficult to find. But what I'm not seeing, let me see if I can find it if I look via Google. Maybe DuckDuckGo is not the greatest search engine in the fucking world. All right. Okay, so this is what AI says. AI says, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away at age 71 following a brief illness and is not directly connected to the landmark $395 million settlement reached by the Archdiocese of San Francisco with over 500 clergy sexual abuse survivors. These were two separate major news events that occurred in the same news cycle. Actually, they did not occur in the same news cycle, but okay, whatever. The point I was making is the dude does not give a fuck about kids, does not care about kids who get raped, kids who exist, who are actually literally born, many of whom are still alive now as adults, right? Including the children who are literally children today who get, Don't recall Senator Lindsey Graham saying a goddamn thing about any of that shit. So what the hell are we supposed to lionize about this guy? What did he do that was so fucking great, that was so amazing, that we're like, wow, Lindsey Graham is just so fucking awesome? Hold up. So we're gonna look it up, to be fair. So, let's check it out. Well, he, had a 33-year military career in the U.S. Air Force. So personally, I'm just going to say this, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, and I don't care. I don't respect people just because they were in the military. In fact, I might lose respect for you, specifically because you were in the military, and I'll tell you why. I get why it's lionized. I get the propaganda that's been spread all over the country and you know, support the troops and all that type of shit. I get it. But see, here's the real question. What the fuck are motherfuckers actually doing? What are they actually doing to truly help the world? Because if you ask me, considering how huge our military is, considering how much money goes into the military budget, some $800 billion annually, and a figure keeps rising, one would think that we would be in a better position than we are right now. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at figures such as this right here, right? I show this all the time. This is a website called visionofhumanity.org, which has what's called the Global Peace Index, okay? It is basically a composite index measuring the peacefulness of countries made up of 23 quantitative and qualitative indicators, each weighted on the scale of 1 to 5. AKA, they rank countries in the world based on their level of peace, okay? The lower the score, the more peaceful the country, which means number 1 is the most peaceful, and out of 163 countries, number 163 would be the least peaceful, okay? So considering that we're here in America, you know, the supposedly greatest country in the fucking world, one would think, okay, well then we would be the best country in the world. We would be the most peaceful country in the fucking world, right? Well, that's why I would think that we would think that would be the case, except when you actually look at reality, you see that we're not. We are clearly fucking not, right? Matter of fact, we're not even in the top 10. Iceland, New Zealand, Switzerland, Slovenia, Ireland, Austria, Portugal, Singapore, Finland, and Japan round out the top 10 most peaceful countries in the world, right? And they have all these different metrics that they use to determine their level of peace. So when we're looking at number 1, right, Iceland, right, this is what we're seeing. These are the metrics that they use, okay? And you can check out their fucking documentation to understand how they reached the conclusions they reached. Okay? But these are the metrics they're using. Things like political instability, political terror scale, weapons imports, terrorism impact, UN peacekeeping funding, nuclear and all this type of shit, okay? This is where they rank, alright? This is where they rank. Now, let's go back to the list, okay? And we scroll down and look for America, okay? Hint, hint, we are not in the top 25. We're not in the top 50. Matter of fact, we're not even in the goddamn top 100 out of 163 countries. Yeah, we're damn near at the fucking bottom at 134, okay? This is where the fuck we rank. The supposedly greatest country in the fucking world, okay? The US of A. 134 out of 163. Last time I checked, right, if you had an exam with 163 questions on it and you get 134 of them wrong as hell, that is a miserable fucking failure. I don't know why you even showed up to take the test. You know goddamn well you ain't know none of the goddamn answers. You only got a few points because you wrote your name right. Other than that, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Why are you even showing up to the fucking party? Why would you waste both our time? Why would you waste your fucking teacher's time? Why would you waste your professor's time grading your piece of shit paper knowing damn well that you wrote a bunch of dumb shit? The hell is your problem? You should have just went to the professor and said, hey, look, sorry, prof, I didn't do none of my homework. I ain't been studying. I ain't been doing shit. What can I do to make up for this? Because I know for a fact I'm going to fail. Can I perhaps get an extension? Can I make up for it with extra credit? Can I do something extra or something of some sort? Can I pay you? Can I give you $100 and you can just forget this all happened? Something, right? Because this is pathetic that we're supposedly the greatest country in the world. And this is our ranking, fam. Out of 163 countries, fam. Out of 163 goddamn countries, we're not even in the top 100. We're in the bottom. We're in the bottom 50. That's a disgusting disgrace. That's a disgrace, fam. So, yeah, so forgive me for not just being like, hey, thank you for your service, sir. Thank you for your service. What the fuck did you do? What exactly did you do? Because, see, I'm sick of the propaganda that's been spread throughout all of America, which is a dystopian existence that we have. All these goofies talk about, oh, they were fighting for your freedom. Which one? Which freedom? What freedom did they fucking fight for that they accomplished? Which of my freedoms did the military fight for that they accomplished that we could say, we could pinpoint, oh, yes, that is exactly how we achieved the freedom X that we experience. Which freedom are you talking about? Because you're talking about freedom of speech. I really don't see how the military keep our freedom of speech, protects our freedom of speech. Hell, You don't even fucking protect our freedom of speech. Matter of fact, social media does a lot to restrict a lot of our speech. It's so bad now, people can't even say real words, scientific terms. People can't use certain specific terms without worrying about being demonetized or violating some bullshit community guideline or pissing off some advertiser. Oh no, if we ever hurt the precious advertisers because they're so fucking important, right? I mean, what do you mean when you say that the military fights to protect our rights? Which rights are they protecting? And how exactly are they protecting it? How are these drone strikes overseas protecting our rights? See, this is exactly one of the major problems that we have in America, is that people get too caught up in vague ambiguities. They get caught up in bullshit fucking ad copy. They don't actually stop to think, what the fuck do people actually mean by what they say? When they say these things like they're fighting for our freedoms, what exactly precisely does that entail? Can they actually explain what that means and provide data points, examples? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to give us top secret data and information. You can just give us a clear explanation of how exactly you're protecting our rights. Because I don't understand how kidnapping foreign presidents protects our rights. I don't understand how the Strait of Hormuz has anything to do with protecting our right to free press. Other than the opposite of like preventing us from actually knowing what's going on, limiting the amount of coverage that occurs, and not showing us what is exactly so important and why, and how you plan on moving us up on lists like this instead of us plummeting on a constant basis? Or how about the domestic problems that we experience here in America, right? The fact that, as I'm going to show you, like I mentioned earlier briefly, there's so much child rape that occurs in the Christian church every fucking day. And I don't see none of you Christians out here talking about any of it, let alone goofies like fucking Lindsey Graham. I never seen Lindsey Graham mention, oh, this child rape in the church needs to stop. We as Christians need to really fight to ensure that we're fucking protecting the children of our Christian community because we care so fucking much. I've never seen that happen. Never. 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 I've never ever seen that happen. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe y'all might know. Maybe you actually have the data and you are a big Lindsey Graham fan, and then you can show me the documents. You can show me how he's been fighting to protect the privates of children from these fucking Christian psychos that keep raping children every fucking day. I just haven't seen it. And I don't see none of these Christian conservative goofies talking about it at all. At all. I mean, not one time. Not one time. I showed y'all all the time. President Trump, matter of fact, I'll show y'all right now. I do this all the time because I do this, okay? Now, this is from the straight up White House, okay? President Trump's top 100 victories for people of faith, okay? September 8th, 2025. By the way, just note that date, September 8th, 2025, because think about, I just want you to think about what happened 2 days after this. There was a significant event that occurred literally 2 days after this concerning a specific person of faith. You know, let's just say his initials begin with the CK, right? CK. There's like a trial right now about his supposed assassination. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that was 2 days after this. Charlie Kirk is who I'm fucking talking about. Anywho, yeah, I mean, that was a big loss, I would think. But here's why I brought it up. 100 victories for people of faith. But one thing you will see curiously missing from this list is any, and I mean a single mention of child rape that occurs in the church. You will see things like, oh, the president issued a presidential message sending his warmest greetings for Ramadan. Like, I'm supposed to give a fuck about that shit. Or he opened his first cabinet meeting in prayer. He championed bringing back religion in our country. Doesn't explain why that's good, which it's not. But nothing about stopping child rape, limiting, reducing, affecting, stopping, trying to stop, even thinking about trying to stop child rape that occurs in the church at all. And I'm talking about, look, this is what they talk about. Oh, President Trump issued an executive order to eliminate race-based and sex-based discrimination within the military. Okay, cool, great. But what about the child rape that occurs in the church every day? Yeah, okay, you support Israel. Yes, you fuckers are really on Israel's cock. All day, every day, especially on fucking Sundays. Y'all can't get enough of this Israel shit. Lindsey Graham really couldn't get enough of this Israel shit. But what about the children, the children in your communities, right? I'm not talking about just like, oh, random, nameless, vague, ambiguous children. I mean your children, the children in your churches, right, in your neighborhoods, in your families, who are being hurt every fucking day by pastors, priests, fucking teachers, whoever, all kinds of fucking people in the church who are hurting the children of the church. Oh, and by the way, where exactly is the Lord? Because people like Lindsey Graham are really, really, really big on this Lord stuff, and never once have they ever demonstrated that at all. At all. That's why I question what in the goddamn fuck is the point of Christianity. And why should we give a fuck about these goofies and these psychos who love this sci-fi fantasy bullshit so much that they're willing to destroy the country because of it, in favor of it, as a result of it, because they're so obsessed with it? I mean, they have made it to the point where we can't even have discussions with them anymore because they're so insane. They're so devoted to the sci-fi fantasy craziness that we can't even have a real discussion about it. It's absolutely disgusting. So, oh, and I love this comment, and their name is so ironic, but I agree with their comment. So, Evangelism for God says, is the title of this article a joke? A champion of life when this man loved to send men and women to endless wars? Yes, I agree with that. That's some fucking bullshit. That's why I don't respect it. I'm sorry, I don't respect these warmongering losers who didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Okay? I don't get it. See, this is what the goofies at the Family Research Council were saying about him, okay? Tony Perkins, president of the Washington-based Family Research Council, called Graham a true leader and a voice for the defenseless. Yeah, because Israel is so defenseless, right? Israel just has no defense, which is why we spend 30 plus billion a year to fucking ensure that they have all the fucking things that we can fucking protect them. Yeah, let's just ignore all that fucking shit. Let's ignore all that shit. Yeah. He used his influence to advance the cause of life. When others grew quiet, Lindsey stepped forward and gave his colleagues a way to speak clearly, courageously, and compassionately about the dignity of every human life, except if you're on the left, in which case we don't give a fuck. He was also a consistent advocate for persecuted Christians around the world, those who suffer simply because they refuse to deny their faith. Look. Fam. And this is what I can't stand about Christianity and just theism in general. So, there are 2.4 billion Christians around the world. Here in America, 200 million Americans are Christian. That's 2/3 of the population. That's like the overwhelming majority. Okay? So, if Christianity is true, how could Christians ever be persecuted if you have the ultimate super weapon, the supernatural, super intelligent, super duper thing, the super thing, the wonderful thing, the Lamb of Lambs, the King of Kings, the whatever the fuck, the Alpha and Omega, and all that shit y'all be talking about. If y'all have that, how could Christians ever be persecuted at all? Why don't you call upon the Lord using your faith stuff, right? I thought, according to your lore, that with the faith of a mustard seed, you could move a mountain, except I've never seen any Christian move a goddamn thing with their faith. Other than a bunch of bombs, I've seen y'all move a lot of bombs, a lot of weapons, a lot of people to their death. Y'all move a lot of shit with your weak-ass faith. But they're usually not good things. I've never seen you actually move mountains. I've never seen you move mountains at all. Not one time. I've seen y'all convince a lot of people to do a lot of crazy shit, a lot of antisocial, harmful things that were harmful to others, themselves, and what have you. But I've never seen y'all accomplish anything truly useful. Now, I could be wrong. I could be totally and utterly wrong, but I care about the facts and the data. So if you have facts and data countering what I'm saying, you can please provide it. I will consider it. But I'm just letting you know, theists have performed a miserable job making their claims, demonstrating their claims. I mean, they've made plenty of claims for fucking ever. We all have had thousands of years to come up with something better than, well, can you prove it's not real? How do you know? How do you know? Well, it's in the spiritual. You can't measure in the physical what is in the spiritual. But y'all gotta have something better than that. Because even if I granted you any of that stuff, like, oh yeah, it's in the spiritual, and you can't measure the spiritual and the physical. Okay, how do you measure the spiritual? What tools are you using to measure the spiritual? What actual methods are you using to measure the spiritual? You have to be specific about what the hell you're talking about, otherwise, what the hell are you talking about? And this is the problem with Christianity. It is bullshit. It's bullshit. Every aspect of it. The core claim of Christians and theists of all kinds can't be demonstrated at all. One thing that theists fail to do is to demonstrate the core of their claim. The sci-fi, fantasy, supernatural, superintelligence that they all supposedly worship and have so much faith in for some reason. And then they act like we should care so much about their faith. Why? We live in the information age now. There's no good reason to just believe anything on faith anymore. Because now we have logic, we have reason, we have fact-based evidence, we have actual fucking information now. You don't need to believe anything on faith anymore because people can actually demonstrate it to you. That's why we have the internet. That's why we have cell phones, because you don't have to just pretend shit no more. Now you can actually demonstrate it. You know, if me and you are arguing over what year did fucking Michael Jordan win his third championship, we can look it up right now. We don't have to have a whole 2-hour-long debate about, no, it was 93, no, it was 97, no, it was 92, no, it didn't even have it up. We don't have to have those bullshit-ass discussions no more. We can literally open our fucking phones, look it up, and actually find the correct answer right now, and then now we can move on with the conversation. Now we can progress to more important things to talk about instead of just arguing over the same old dumb shit for fucking thousands of years. So we live in a time now where you Christians gotta knock it off with this faith shit. Faith is literal stupidity. It's literally choosing to believe something for no good goddamn reason. And acting like I'm supposed to just be like, okay, well, you just believe stupid shit for no fucking good reason. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, totally. No, that's stupid as fuck. I'm sorry. And because I care about you, I'm informing you, yeah, that's stupid as hell. And not only that, But in the information age, stupidity is evil as fuck. Why would you believe anything on faith? For what? Why? For what? You can believe literally anything on faith. So what good is that? What is the good of believing something on faith? What benefit is gained by believing things on faith? What true benefit has society experienced that we can directly attribute specifically to faith? What disease has ever been cured on faith? What viral outbreak was shut down in its tracks because of your hoping and wishing shit? When has reciting a Bible verse ever, and I mean ever, prevented a mass shooting? Ever. This is what I don't understand. Christians and theists of all kinds can never present any actual data in favor of their craziness. They always reach to historical things like, oh, well, theists came up with hospitals and schools and shit. They made universities and shit. Okay, that's cool. But that's despite your belief, not because of your belief. There is no cure for any disease in the Bible. There is no blueprint for devising some fucking mechanism today in the Bible. You don't see blueprints for a cell phone or a fucking computer or anything that would be actually useful in that book at all. You don't. So why are we respecting somebody like Lindsey Graham because he was such a goddamn Christy Christian? What is so great about being such a Christy Christian? What exactly do Christians accomplish? Think about the fact that right now, Christianity is a multi-trillion-dollar industry right now. What do they actually do? What problems in the world are Christians actually solving right now? What problems have they solved within the last 100 years where we were like, wow, this was a major problem in the world, and here are Christians who actually solved it? I'll give you somebody like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., except it was other Christians that murdered him. It was other Christians who were standing in the way of all these fucking minority groups who were using their faith to justify their discriminatory policies and actions and behaviors. So you can't even try that. You can say, oh, Malcolm X, he was a theist, he did some great work, and they killed him too. Weird. Other theists killed. Isn't it crazy? Why is nobody talking about theism on theism crime? Theist on theist crime? Because it happens all the time, every fucking day. And if you don't believe me, I will fucking demonstrate it to you right now. I will show you literally right now the type of crimes that Christians commit upon other Christians. And then I'm going to ask you, where all these super duper Christy Christians in the church who claim that they care so much about the fucking children in their Christian communities aren't saying shit about any of this shit. Ain't opening their mouth to talk about any of it. Ain't bringing no motherfucking attention to it. Aren't mentioning any of it at all. I mean at all. Literally at all. I don't get it. I mean, this is every day. Every day. This is not an exaggeration. I wish it was. I really, really, really wished it was. But this is constant shit that's happening, fam. And it trips me out that, like, every Sunday, like clockwork, Christians are coming together to have their sci-fi fantasy fan club meetups, but they never talk about it ever, even though it happens all the time. Like, here's a story. We've touched on this story before. This is from yesterday. Child abuser who preyed on orphans housed at Christian Brothers property. Okay. Christian Brothers properties have been used to house convicted, guess who? Including one brother who preyed on orphans and another who was kept in teaching positions for almost 3 decades after senior officials became... This is always a pattern. It's always a pattern. It's always these kind of stories all the time. It's always, an offender is an offender, right? The people that the offender associates with become aware of the offender's offending behavior, offensive behavior, and they just turn the blind eye. How many times do we ever see that, like, all the time? In so many situations. And for those of you who are unaware, Christian Brothers is, of course, a Christian fucking group. I think they're in Europe or something somewhere. Australia. So, in fact, they go into it. Land title records obtained this week by Guardian Australia show that Christian Brothers owned properties have been used to house at least 2 brothers with horrific histories of child sexual abuse. Brother Rex Elmer and brother Peter Toomey. Toomey was convicted in November 2005 of 10 charges of indecent assault against students at Trinity College in Brunswick in his 70s and was jailed. He was jailed again in 2019 for assaulting 2 boys aged 14 and 15 in the 70s and 80s. Because, you know, they don't ever just stop. They don't get arrested and then learn their lesson and say, you know what? Thank you, Jesus, for showing me the way. I will not fail in my fucking Christian shit again. No. They do it, and then they do it again, and they do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. How do you think these billion-dollar settlements, these $100 million settlements constantly happen? Because only a couple of times of that? No. It's because this is par for the course. This is their culture. This is what they do. This occurs all over the world. All over the world. Not just in certain fucking municipalities. Not just, every 200 years. No, this is all the time, everywhere, every day. And these situations always happen for decades, and there's always multiple people who knew it was happening, but I guess the Holy Spirit didn't move them, didn't behoove them to think that maybe this is not the way of the Lord. The Lord and Savior Jesus Christ didn't say anything about, hey, you shouldn't do any of this stuff at all. And I don't see Christians anywhere talking about any of this at all. And I don't get it. I don't understand. If y'all care so much about the children like y'all claim, what's the deal? Because this is all the time. Like, you can go back and look at all these fucking lives that I've done. And we talk about this shit all the time. Like, check this out. See, I haven't been doing lives in a while. So we got all kind of stories that we could go into. I mean, it's so many. Right? This is from a few weeks ago. Baltimore church sued over youth pastor's sex crimes. Filing follows former pastor's sex crime guilty plea. More than 15 years after Thomas Pinkerton Jr. left Central Christian Church, the Baltimore congregation is facing legal action for crimes he allegedly committed while serving as its youth pastor. Weird. Isn't that crazy how this shit constantly happens? It's like a theme or some shit. On June 8th, Pinkerton pleaded guilty to sexually abusing a minor. He had been charged last August with 24 felonies and misdemeanors for alleged sex crimes against 16 teenagers between 2006 and 2010, but many of those counts were removed as part of the plea deal. Now, one of the alleged victims has filed a lawsuit against both Pinkerton and Central Christian Church, also known as Central Christian Assembly. Now, why would something like this ever happen? If the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is so real and so true and really really wants to protect his flock and protect his people and protect the children and all that type of shit that these Christians love to say, why would anybody want to sue the church? Right? I mean, you could say it's some scam shit maybe, but it's too many of these instances that occur. It's too many. It's all the time. It's all the time, everywhere, all day, every day. Like I said, where are the Christians talking about it? Why don't they talk about it? When they come together and have their sci-fi fantasy fan club meetups, why don't they bring this stuff up? Like, these are real children that are being harmed all the time. They're being harmed by the leaders of your congregation. Why would y'all allow this to persist? I don't get it. I don't get it. Think about this. This is on a Christian website, by the way. God damn it, these fucking... Alright. So, Premier Christianity, the UK's leading Christian magazine. Now, look at this fucking headline. Just look at the headline. Jeffrey Donaldson's conviction exposes the danger of confusing charisma with Christian character. I mean, think of the absurdity of that title. Think of the absurdity of that title. That they would even have to say a statement like that. Confusing charisma with Christian character. Because Christian character should include charisma, right? I mean, that should be kind of a part of it. I mean, that's what attracts so many people to the Lord. The charisma of believers who are spreading the gospel, right? Those would be the best people to bring others into the web of lies. I mean, the community of the Lord, right? And yet, what's the very first thing that this article says? Okay. By the way, by David Smith, and this was just like a couple weeks ago, June 26th. The former DUP leader, Jeffrey Donaldson, has been found guilty of historical sex offenses in a trial that has shaken Northern Ireland to its core. A professing Christian and prominent public figure, his crimes demand a serious response from the church, says David Smith. Whoa, time out. Wait. Forget a response from the church. Why would the church need to respond at all if what they claimed was the truth? If they claimed that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are so real and so true, then why would they have members of their congregation engaging in this behavior in the first place? If believing in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ made you a more moral person, then why are there more moral people engaging in this kind of immoral behavior? Please explain that. Doesn't the Holy Spirit move amongst his people so that they can, like, something not engage in that kind of behavior? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I thought that's what they claim. Where was Lindsey Graham when this type of shit was happening? Why was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit not giving anybody any prophecies about potential harm that could be caused to other Christians by Christians? Anywho, check this. This week, my former MP Jeffrey Donaldson was found guilty of 18 historical sex offenses committed against 2 women when they were children. He is currently in prison awaiting sentencing. His wife was found to have aided and abetted him in committing these acts. Of course! Didn't I just talk about that? Didn't I just talk about how they always have people who either fucking cover up for them or even help them do the shit? Why do you think these $1 billion of settlements are happening? Because a few bad apples? No, it's the whole bunch. It's a whole bunch. And I mean that figuratively and literally. Literally. Because we could do this all day, every day. That's the sad part about this. I'm picking and choosing articles right now. We could rattle off article after article after article. We could go through backlogs and backlogs and backlogs. We could do this all day. The theme that we keep seeing is the lack of response of the Christians. Oh, and by the way, the lack of response of the Lord. Where is the Father, the Son, and or the Holy Spirit? Where are they? Right? My family just got back from church. They ain't got no answers. All these churches done had all these motherfucking services. Did any of them bring this up at all? I'll give you a hint. Of course not. None of them do, because why would they do that? That's bad press. Why would they talk about a hush thing that they don't want to talk about? Why do you think I have to talk about it? Because nobody else will. Not even half my fellow atheists talk about this shit. I don't know what they be fucking talking about. But the fact of the matter is, this shit occurs much more than you would like to think. It's really like a disgrace. That's why I get so angry, because so many people subscribe to this absurdity. And none, I repeat, none of them, not a single one of them, could demonstrate any of this. There are literally 2.4 billion Christians in the world, and 0 of them can provide you with the current whereabouts of the Lord right now. It is 5:04 p.m. Central Standard Time on July the 12th, 2026. Not one single goddamn Christian can show us where the Lord can be found right now. If they could, why don't they right now? But see, that's why you have to have faith. Because the whole point is, there is nothing. But that's not going to stop these loonies from asserting this shit. They're not showing that they actually have any actual data that they can provide right now, in real life, in real time, that would be even remotely convincing to anyone with a brain. That's the sad part about all of this shit. So it's like, what are we doing? That's why I ask Christians, what is the point of Christianity? What does Christian churches, what do Christian organizations, what do they actually do? What do they actually accomplish that is so wonderful? Because I'm still lost. I'm baffled that I'm not seeing anything of value that they provide to our community that's so worth it that we should give a fuck about what they have to say. Because, as I stated, people like Lindsey Graham, They've been in the military, but what did they do? People think that they should just get respect because they went in the military. What kind of fucking standard is that? Why can't we talk about what the military actually accomplishes, literally? But this is where we are in America, where we don't have any real conversations about shit. Everything is a fucking catchphrase. Everything is ad copy. Support the troops. Support the troops. For what? Why should we support the troops? We should support the troops to do what? What are they doing? What exactly are they doing that they deserve our support? Because I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of shit that goes on in the motherfucking military. I don't know if you know. Yeah, the military got a rape problem too. Lots of people getting raped in the military. And oh, what do you know? These same Christian loonies don't talk about that at all. Ain't that some shit? Ain't it weird that there's this rape culture all over the fucking country that doesn't get talked about unless it's specific cases, unless it's specific individuals? Like the Epstein shit, okay, yeah, it's a big news story because there's so many motherfucking prominent people that are among that. So yeah, that's gonna be a big story. We're gonna see, okay, former presidents and all kinds of celebrities had to be fucking subpoenaed to fucking testify, and people stepping down and resigning from their various positions, and even a couple people might have got arrested. Okay, cool. But what I'm showing you is that this isn't just, just the web of the rich. This is all around us every day, everywhere. But not only that, but the media is doing their damnedest to fucking not talk about this shit, which is why y'all don't see it. Unless y'all see it from me, you ain't seeing it. You're just not. Right? I showed y'all before. When the San Francisco Archdiocese settlement was announced, all the major news media outlets covered it, but none of them featured the story on their front page on their respective websites. CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News, we checked all of them. Scrolled through the whole page, looked multiple times, ain't nothing there. $395 million. $395 million. That's not an exaggeration. That's not me pulling some bullshit out of my fucking ass. This literally happened. This actually happened. This is an actual story. This is a real story that occurred a couple weeks ago. Like I said, June 30th. $395 million. That's not no small amount now. This isn't just like $395. It's not even $395,000. That's $400 million. Why would this not be front page news everywhere? Why is this not the talk of the town and all the land all across America? $395 million. And this ain't, what I've been trying to show y'all, this ain't the only one. It's been so many settlements. Hell, in June, no, not even June, in May 1st, actually. May 1st, New York offered $800 million. So think about that. You got 400 here, 800 in New York. With 2 cities alone, you're already north of $1 billion just from within the past 2 months. 2 months, north of $1 billion worth of rape settlements that the Archdiocese of New York and San Francisco engaged in. We're not even talking about all the other cities that have done it earlier this year, in fucking Baltimore, and then fucking New Jersey, and all. It's like we could keep going. We could keep going. These stories are constantly happening. But why are Christians not talking about it? Why did Lindsey Graham, super duper Christy Christian, why wasn't he talking about it? Doesn't he care about the children? These are not just children, but these are Christian children. These are children in the Christian church. It says right here, literally in this article, this is one of the largest settlements between the Catholic Church and survivors of sexual abuse. It is children in the church. It's not random children down the street. It's literally children who are members of the church. This is all over America and all over the world. Why aren't American Christians mentioning any of this at all? The president, the vice president, the secretary of state, Congress, Supreme Court, all the governors and mayors and state reps and all these fucking goofies that claim they love them some Jesus. Why don't they give a fuck about the kids. They always claim they do. They always talk about the youth. Oh my God, the children. They always, when it comes to the gays, and it comes to the trans, they ain't got nothing but love for the kids. When it comes to abortion, they swear they care about the kids. Oh, what about pastors and priests raping children? Shh. 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 Don't tell nobody. And I'm supposed to respect that? I'm supposed to respect that. Wait. No. Time out. No, you're saying that I'm filled with hate. I'm such an hateful, evil person because I don't want the children in your communities to be raped by the weirdos in your community. I'm filled with hate. Wait, you're saying I'm filled with hate because despite the 2.4 billion Christians throughout the world, 0 of them can provide us with exactly where the Lord can be found right now, that they can't show us that the Lord... What the fuck? I don't know why the fuck they just started playing on the song. Why the fuck are these goofies failing to show us why the Lord can't stop these fools? Why would it pick these fools if it knew that these fools was gonna do that type of shit? Because, according to their lore, the Lord is omniscient, which means the Lord knows everything. So if the Lord knows that these dudes are fucking child rapists, why would it allow these child rapists to earn leadership positions all over the fucking world so that it can rape all these kids for so long? And then why would it pick other losers that would help them? Either actually protect them from being caught, or worse, help them facilitate the rape. What kind of Christians? I mean, if Christianity is so great, then why don't no Christians talk about this shit? At all. I mean, at all. Lindsey Graham, fucking Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth. Hell, we don't have to just go the right wing. We don't have to just talk about Republicans. What about them? Where's Obama? Where's Kamala? Joe. Hey, Joe. JB. Big dog. Where you at? Hillary. Bill. Hillary. Bill. Billy Hillary. Billary. Where the fuck are y'all at talking about the child rape that occurs in the church? See, this is a problem with not just Christianity, but everybody. This is a major American problem. These are things that have been happening and are currently happening every day, right? This isn't just some shit that happened a couple times over the past 100 years. This is every day. This is every day, right? I showed y'all a story from yesterday. Like these are things that are constantly happening, and there is no end to it. And there seems to be no desire to even try to end it, despite the fact that 200 million Christians exist. They have extreme representation in the entire motherfucking goddamn government, in the whole White House. The president, vice president, secretary of state, the goddamn almost the whole of Congress, almost the whole of the Supreme Court, super duper Christy Christians, and yet these problems continually persist in the Christian community, in all our communities, because 2/3 of the country are Christian. So why does this problem not just persist, but why does there seem to be zero desire to even think about addressing it at all? They never talk about it, they never mention it. Even though this is almost every day. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Why is this so pervasive? And why does it never ever seem to end? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many stories. We could go back. Stories we didn't cover from a couple months ago. Former Christian school teacher accused of guess what? Right? This is from May 1st. Right? Or let's go last year. Because these stories are just all over. Christian school teacher from Alpine. Yeah, Alpine. So that was Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was Alpine, California. Yeah, it's in San Diego. So, I mean, like, this shit just occurs so much. Lindsey Graham is in the fucking, well, was in the Congress, right? He was a senator. Where was he mentioning any of this? Where was he mentioning any of this? When did Lindsey Graham ever mention any of this? He was in a prime position where he could have perhaps done something about it. He could have used his position of influence to help bring awareness to it and perhaps draft legislation to help stop it. And of course, he did not. This is a constant theme, which is why I find it extraordinarily important to mention this stuff at all times. Because Christianity has all the influence, they have all the leverage, they have everything. There are 300,000 to 400,000 churches across America. 200 million Christians across America. So they have everything that they could possibly need to at least address this problem if that's what they wanted to do. So why don't they? Why don't they? Why are Christians miserable fucking failures when it comes to mentioning this shit? Like, check this story. This is from 4 days ago. And this is, again, Premier Christian News. Spanish Cardinal suspends himself after sexual assault allegations. Spanish Cardinal Cristobal Lopez Romero, who is also the Archbishop of Rabat, Morocco, has suspended himself after being accused of, guess what? Being a fucking weirdo. Like, this is what happens, bruh. The Cardinal pledged to fully cooperate with the Vatican investigation. Like, we're supposed to trust the Vatican, bruh. Fam. The Vatican, even their own bishops don't fucking trust the Vatican, which is why they got excommunicated from the church. That should tell you how full of shit they are. That they have a schism within the Vatican, but they're all super duper connected to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, right? So how could there be a schism among people that supposedly hold the truth? If they hold the truth, how could anybody disagree? How could your own members disagree, but your shit is true though? They're like, nah, you ain't doing it right. What you mean? The Lord is telling you directly what you doing right. So why ain't the Lord telling them that they got it wrong? Why would they think that the Lord is telling you wrong? And why can't y'all agree? Why don't y'all, I don't know, have a fucking conference call with the Lord? And then the Lord can sort it out for y'all. Ain't that some shit? All of these Christians that claim that they have a direct connection, a spiritual connection with the Lord, and yet they don't seem to have any agreement at all about the Lord, even though the Lord is having a direct connection with y'all. Weird. Here's another article. This is from earlier in the week. This is a slightly different, topic, but also along the same lines. Bishop William Barber says Trump has a God complex. Now, this is from back in April. But it says right here, Civil rights activist Bishop William Barber has accused President Donald Trump of having a God complex following recent statements and pictures the president has posted on social media. So it must be when he posted that image where he looked like Jesus or some shit. Yep, it is. It says it right there. Barber's comments come after Trump said he would send Iranians to hell, publicly sparred with the Pope, and posted a now deleted AI generated photo of himself depicted as Jesus. Why is the Pope's teaching getting under his skin? Why is what Jesus teaches bothering the president so much? Barber asked during the press conference. Okay, look. Why would you even have to ask that? If y'all all are on the same page, then what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Why is it that Christians just can't seem to fucking agree on shit? How about this? Where's the fucking Lord? How about y'all figure out how you can actually literally locate the Lord right now so that we can get to the bottom of this? Because this is exactly the type of problem that I have with these goofy ass politicians, public figures who are super duper Christy Christians. So, check this out. So here's another Christian website, Sermons Online, with an article about his death that says Senator Lindsey Graham dies, a Christian statesman who stood with Israel and Ukraine until the end. Funny how it doesn't say he stood with America until the end, but whatever. The Christian community and the political world are mourning the passing of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, who died on July 11th following a sudden illness. During more than 3 decades of public service, Graham became one of America's best-known conservative leaders, not only for his work in the U.S. Senate, but also for his outspoken Christian faith, his commitment to traditional values, his unwavering support for Israel, and his steadfast stand with Ukraine during some of its darkest days. Lindsey Graham was a Christian and a member of the Southern Baptist Convention. Throughout his life, he never hid his faith and believed that biblical principles should influence not only personal life, but also public service. Although he was not a pastor or a preacher, he was widely recognized as one of the few American politicians who openly spoke about his Christian convictions, defended religious liberty, and championed values shared by millions of evangelical believers. Now. See, this is the exact type of garbage that I'm talking about. One of the few. Fam. Find me a politician who doesn't. Find me any major politician who does not openly speak about their Christian ass convictions. Find me one who does not. Okay, fam, when the Obama Public Library was first opened, the first thing they did was a fucking prayer. All these former presidents were in attendance. Bush, Biden, the Clintons, right? They were all there. All these prominent fucking celebrities, former athletes, current athletes were in attendance, and they all sat there and prayed. So what are you talking about? One of the few. Fam, you can't even get in a high position of government unless you openly speak about your Christian convictions. What the hell are y'all talking about? This is the cat that I'm talking about. This is literally what Christians do. They always want to act like there's only so few. Christians are 2/3 of the population. 2/3! It is very, very safe and comfortable, almost, like I said, required. And it's not almost, it's required to be a Christian, to even come close to running for any fucking office. If you don't publicly devote yourself to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you don't have a chance. A fucking atheist and anti-theist like me has no chance of winning any public office. And I'm in super duper liberal Chicago, right? But see, Chicago is a fucking Christian cesspool too. It's Christians all over the place. There are churches all over the place. And even in Christian-ass Chicago, we got all this violence and mayhem. Christians can't seem to find a single shred of a solution, despite the fact that they are supposedly super duper connected with the Lord. Huh, weird. But they always find a way to make all this money, though. Ain't that some shit? And then look at this shit. I just noticed this. They got all these live sermons that are happening right now. What are they talking about? What are they doing on these fucking lives? We could click on all these. I bet you 0 of them are talking about the constant rape that occurs in the church every day. And what's so good about Christianity being used to shape the public fucking policy? Because, see, there's a reason why I show y'all this all the fucking time. Yeah, it's called the goddamn Constitution, right? It literally has these things called amendments. And there's this one called, the first one, that literally says, and I quote, matter of fact, I'll just show y'all, because I show y'all all the time. The first thing it says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Isn't that crazy that that's the first fucking thing that it says? And yet, Christians always make laws that respect religion. That's kind of like unconstitutional. But there's so many fucking Christians in America, they don't give a shit. And the irony is that all these goofies act like they're such staunch constitutionalists. Like they know so much about the Constitution, like they care so much about the Constitution. The first thing it says, they ignore completely. Every day, all the time. It pisses me off because this has been par for the course the whole time. They don't care about the Constitution at all. They pick and choose the parts that they like, just like they do with the Bible. They pick and choose the parts that they like, and the parts they don't like, just ignore it. Why? Because they know that people are so fucking retarded that they will not actually read the Constitution to see what it says. People are so lazy, they'll just take another goofy's word for it, right? That's why I like to show y'all what it actually literally says, because this is not me making shit up. This is not me just saying it and twisting words and hoping that you actually, hopefully, possibly just take my word for it. No, I show you. Amendments to the Constitution. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. They always skip that part. They literally skip it every single time. They always say, oh, the First Amendment grants freedom of religion, but it literally says that we should not make laws respecting an establishment of religion. So all these goofy-ass Christian nationalists that always talk about, oh, this is a Christian nation, what the hell are they talking about? What the fuck are they talking about? I just read to you what the Constitution says. Now, granted, okay, you can say, well, what about the very next part? Right? Because after that, it says, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. But that presents a problem. Because those two things cancel out. Because you can't make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or make, I should say, and not make laws that prohibit the free exercise thereof. Right? Like, you can't have it both ways. Either you prohibit the free exercise thereof, or you don't. But the fact that we have these other laws, you know, like, I don't know, laws against child rape, inherently prohibit religious freedom. So then, this is why I'm confused about, okay, if we take what I just said at face value, right? It says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I'm confused about why don't Christians contend with that part then? Right? Because the laws prohibit Christians from freely engaging in child rape. So why don't they fight against the First Amendment? Because it prohibits their free exercise of child rape, which is clearly a part of their religion, considering how they do it so fucking much, how they're the overwhelming majority of the perpetrators of said crimes, how they always are fucking failing miserably to talk about it, think about it, address it. And I'm talking about motherfuckers at every turn. I showed y'all the top 100 victories for people of faith posted by the president, right? And not one single mention of reducing, addressing, even acknowledging the problem of child rape in the church. You want to talk about valuing life and empowering women, but you don't want to talk about valuing life and empowering the children who are getting raped by fucking Christians in the fucking church every day. So, where's the Lord? I'm always going to ask you Christians, where the fuck is the Lord? Because if y'all care about children so fucking much, then why don't none of you motherfuckers talk about it? Why, when y'all get in positions of power, wealth, decision making, y'all don't use that power, wealth, and decision making to, I don't know, protect the kids? In fact, y'all are the ones that actually hurt the kids the most. You use your power and wealth to rape kids and get away with it for decades. That's what y'all do. That's why every time these settlements happen, they're not publicly promoted at all. That's why most Christians don't even know that this shit happens. And the Lord is definitely not gonna impress upon his fucking knowledge or whatever to his fellow Christians, to his members, to his children. He's not gonna give Christians the prophecy of, oh, child getting raped, child about to get raped, go save that that's not gonna happen. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. Because this God thing is not real. And that is the point of all of this. Christians can say whatever they want all day, every day. They can come into the fucking chat. They can say whatever they want. They can feel however they want. And I get so many Christians in my comments. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. They come with every single possible apologetic that they can think of. The same old tired bullshit excuses that they always mention, but the one thing they never present is any tangible, meaningful evidence for the existence of their God thing that they are so obsessed with. They don't have a coordinate. They don't have a single set of coordinates. They don't have an address. They don't have any contact information. They don't have a methodology, a tool of any kind. They keep saying this prayer stuff. That is not a communication method. It's not a method for anything. It's a waste of fucking time. It's basically just the low rate version of fucking meditation. That's it. It's not, meditation is not communication, right? This is communicating. This is a communication device. Doing like this, please Lord Jesus, please Lord Jesus, please Lord Jesus, is not a communication method. I'm sorry to break it to you. It accomplishes nothing. If you think you're accomplishing something by doing that, you're not. Nothing gets accomplished. That doesn't solve anything, doesn't fix anything. It doesn't fix a major problem, solve a major problem, any problem. It does nothing. Yet Christians will tout it as like the most amazing thing. Like, no, you should pray and pray. Every time something bad happens, oh, I'll pray for you, right? Chris Johnson gets ALS. How many of the football players that are doing the ALS challenge talking about, yeah, we love you, we're praying for you? What the fuck is that prayer shit gonna do? That prayer shit does nothing. Thank you for doing the ice bucket challenge and all that. Raising awareness and all that. But prayer is not, it accomplishes nothing. The dude can't fucking move, dude. He can't even talk. He needs a device to talk for him. Because he literally cannot move a limb, because that's what ALS does. Your prayer is not going to help him move an inch. Remember when we talked about how faith of a mustard seed can't move mountains? It also can't move a motherfucking inch. Your prayer is not going to help dude wiggle his big toe, because prayer doesn't affect ALS at all. So knock it the fuck off with that shit. It does nothing. Prayer accomplishes nothing. If at best it might make you feel better about what you're going through, that's about it. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And while that might make you feel better and that's cool, that's nothing major, because there's still horrible, horrific atrocities being done in the world, and your prayers are doing literally nothing to accomplish it. That's why I'm an anti-theist, because theism is nihilism. Theism is apathy. Theism is bullshit. Theism basically says, yeah, let's hope that maybe something happens, and if not, oh well, I guess it must have been God's plan. At least when we go to heaven after we fucking die, then we can experience super happy, go lucky, superland. But my thing is, why can't we make real life the super happy, super go lucky, superland right now? While we're alive. While we're still able, while we're still capable. That's why I don't respect people like Lindsey Graham. That's why, you know what, I'm going to say it, and I know y'all going to hate it. I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad. I'm glad. Because he was too far gone. And this is the sad thing about reality. I'm not necessarily a celebrator of death, right? Because one of my central themes is that life is precious and it matters. But at the same time, there are so many people who've caused so many horrible atrocities, or who have contributed to the worsening of society with their antisocial sci-fi fantasy crap. And it's unacceptable. See, like, he died suddenly of a sudden illness. But see, my thing is, why aren't we funding research into all these illnesses? The fact that motherfuckers even have to do an ice bucket challenge is a goddamn shame. Why aren't we collectively investing in research for all these rare genetic diseases to begin with? Why would we as a society not want to prevent future humans from attracting or inheriting these diseases? Or like, if we go back to the topic of abortion, right? One of the main principal influences concerning abortion is poverty. There's a direct correlation between poverty and abortion, and yet these Christians, these conservative Christians, don't give a fuck at all about that. At all. At all. Ain't that some shit? If these people were really against abortion, you would think they would give a fuck about the things causing it, like poverty, but they don't. Because they don't care about poverty. They have an agenda that they're going to push, and they're going to push that bullshit agenda no matter what. Because people are so fucking retarded. People are suffering from various psychological disorders. They abuse various substances, and or They have microplastics and forever chemicals crossing their blood-brain barrier and having untold effects on their cognition, hindering their cognitive processes from functioning which is why people far and wide subscribe to these ridiculous sci-fi fantasy ideologies that are completely divorced from reality. That's why it's so vitally important that we as a society have real conversations about these things. That we have real conversations about these people. Because, frankly, personally, I don't subscribe to either political ideology. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. They both suck. They're both run by a bunch of goofy-ass Christians who don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they've miserably failed to help us create a well-functioning society for ourselves for decades on end. The last several fucking decades, they ain't did shit. All the things that they accomplish are overwhelmingly overshadowed by the bullshit that they engaged in. And it's so bad that a fucking president like Obama, we can't even have real conversations about, because so many people are on his dick so fucking hard. They are so on his nutsack that they ignore, even when you present to them exactly the things that he did that were bad, they don't care. They would if Trump did that shit. Oh, they would be up in arms over that shit. But oh, Obama did that shit. Well, but see, you don't understand. He was being strong-armed by the Republicans. He was being forced to do those things. He didn't have a choice. He had to negotiate because the Republicans weren't gonna let him do what he wanted to do. You don't understand. It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. American political discourse is garbage. The two-party false dichotomy fucking garbage is nonsense. Let's get real for a second. What are we doing, fam? What exactly are we doing? What are our goals? What are our aims? Why do Christians think that their ideology is so great? What are they actually trying to accomplish? What is the goal of Christianity? What is the goal of goofies like Lindsey Graham? Like, what are they trying to do? Because there's no real clear goal here. There's no desire to present any clear, like, information concerning the Lord's whereabouts. No Christian anywhere can demonstrate to us the current location of the Lord. And now that Lindsey Graham is dead, how is he going to communicate that to us, right? Because he's going to heaven, right? How is he going to communicate to us that there's a heaven place anywhere in the universe that exists in real life? Not just in the fairy tale, but in real life. That there's an actual place. There's a literal, I don't know, spiritual, physical location or something. How can we demonstrate that in real life? And this is why I don't feel sorry for Lindsey Graham. And I don't feel sorry for his ilk. I don't feel sorry for politicians because they brought us to this point where we're so low on the global peace index and they don't have any clear direction as to where we're going and why. We can't get any real conversations going with any of these fucking loonies because they do everything possible to prevent us from having these conversations. That's why I'm here on YouTube instead of on TikTok, where I was building a big following before they shut me down for doing exactly this, showing y'all the bullshit of these politicians, how they don't know what they're talking about, and how despite the fact that they claim they're such super duper Christy Christians who care about the youth, they don't do anything to show us they actually do care about the youth, because everything they do seems to harm the youth all the time, and they don't seem to want to be held accountable at all for any of it. So forgive me for not fucking giving a fuck about Lindsey Graham, especially when he does shit like this, right? He goes to church about 3 times a year, but wants Supreme Court nominee to rate her faithfulness on a scale of 1 to 10. And that was back in 2022, man. Like, this is the type of hypocrisy that they do. It says that while pressing Jackson about her faith and her church attendance, the conservative evangelical senator admitted that he attends his own Southern Baptist church only about 3 times a year. As if that matters anyway, right? Because what are you getting from it? What exactly are you gaining from church? You're not getting any useful information. You're not getting solutions to major world problems. You're not getting blueprints for technologies. You're not given fucking methods for reducing child rape, eliminating child rape in the church or anywhere in the world. You're not getting anything useful. You're not getting anything of value. At best, you're getting a community, okay? But when you're allowing weirdos to rape children in said community, what good is it? When you can't demonstrate that your community is rooted in reality, what actual good is it? All you've done is help create this dystopian reality, this dystopian nightmare, where we can't even have real conversations because everybody's such a bitch-ass liar, a fucking crybaby-ass delulu loser, that they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they have helped America become a hyper-capitalist, plutocratic, oligarchical, conquistocratic, kleptocratic, gerontocratic, theocratic, idiocratic, craziocratic, fucking, damn it, what is it? Mediocratic, techno-feudalist corporatocracy. Yeah, I added a new term. Mediocratic. America's mediocre as fuck, and we seem to be content with that shit. A mediocre country run by a bunch of old, rich, goofy, thieving ass, conniving ass, unqualified ass, goofy ass, corrupt ass Jesus freaks who don't know shit about fuck other than being bitch ass simps for the rich, the banks, the corporations, and the churches, using our fucking resources, extracting all of our resources and giving it all away to these fucking goofies and pretending like it's helping us somehow, despite their inability to demonstrate a shred of their sci-fi fantasy bullshit. Despite their inability to show us how what they are doing is literally helping us in any tangible, meaningful way at all. So fuck Lindsey Graham. And fuck the Republican Party. Fuck the Democratic Party. Fuck the U.S. and its fucking garbage-ass, shitty-ass motherfucking system that keeps so many of us oppressed and unable to make a living for ourselves, keeping us trapped in poverty, keeping us trapped in debt, and not thinking about providing us with any way out. We're falling apart as a country, and these Christian loonies are only helping to exacerbate that falling apart. So, I'm about to get off here. I don't have any love lost for Lindsey Graham or any of these politicians. None of them know what the hell they're talking about. None of them know what the hell they're doing. They're all wrong. They're all completely divorced from reality. They're all corrupt. None of them know what the hell they're talking about. A broken clock is right at least twice a day. But Lindsey Graham didn't accomplish shit. He didn't do nothing to help society. And it sickens me that people like him get lionized like he was so wonderful and amazing. But I just showed you a major problem in the fucking country and the world that losers like him don't even think about giving a fuck about. Despite their supernatural, super intelligent, super thing being so super duper real and so true, none of them, zero of them, him, he couldn't demonstrate the Lord's current whereabouts. And now he'll never know because he's fucking dead. So holla back at your motherfucking boy. Enjoy the rest of your fucking Sunday. If you haven't, hit that like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Go to off9.com, join the Discord, all that good stuff. Holla back at your motherfucking boy.